Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new, we are here to help you prepare for your U.S. naturalization interview. During the naturalization interview, the officer will verify your answers on the N-400 form. In addition, he or she may also ask you some of the definitions of the words in the N-400 application, especially the ones in Part 12. If you haven't checked out the other videos in this series, go check them out here. Today we're going to focus on Part 12, questions 30 through 50. Again, I will give you different ways the officer might ask you during the interview. I will repeat them twice to help you get familiar with the questions and the answers. Practice answers by repeating after me and saying it out loud. Are you ready? Let's get started. Have you ever been a habitual drunkard? Have you ever been a habitual drunkard? Or, are you an alcoholic? Are you an alcoholic? No, or never. What is your understanding of a habitual drunkard? What is your understanding of a habitual drunkard? Someone drinks too much alcohol regularly. Someone drinks too much alcohol regularly. Have you ever been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution? Have you ever been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution? Or, have you ever paid money for sex or sold sex for money? Have you ever paid money for sex or sold sex for money? Never. Can you explain to me what a prostitute is? Can you explain to me what a prostitute is? Someone who has sex with another person for money. Someone who has sex with another person for money. Do you know what procure means? Do you know what procure means? To find someone for sex. To find someone for sex. Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? Or they could ask, have you ever been a trafficker of narcotics? Have you ever been a trafficker of narcotics? Or, have you ever been an illicit drug trafficker? Have you ever been an illicit drug trafficker? Or, did you ever take part in drug trafficking? Did you ever take part in drug trafficking? Or they could phrase it, Have you ever trafficked illegal drugs? Have you ever trafficked illegal drugs? The answer is never. Explain to me what smuggle means. Explain to me what smuggle means. To take things to or from a country illegally. To take things to or from a country illegally. What are controlled substances? What are controlled substances? Legal drugs that can be bought with a prescription, but with restrictions. Legal drugs that can be bought with a prescription, but with restrictions. How about narcotics? How about narcotics? An illegal drug such as heroin or cocaine. An illegal drug such as heroin or cocaine. Have you ever been married to more than one person at the same time? Have you ever been married to more than one person at the same time? Or, have you ever practiced polygamy? Have you ever practiced polygamy? Or they could ask, do you believe in polygamy? Do you believe in polygamy? Never. What is polygamy? What is polygamy? It is when you're married to more than one person at the same time. When you're married to more than one person at the same time. Have you ever married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? Have you ever married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? Or, have you ever married someone to get entrance into the United States? Have you ever married someone to get entrance into the United States? Or, did you marry your spouse to obtain your green card? Did you marry your spouse to obtain your green card? The answer is never or no. Could you define obtain for me? Could you define obtain for me? To get or gain something. To get or gain something. What is immigration benefit? What is immigration benefit? Things like a visa, green card, or citizenship. Things like a visa, green card, or citizenship. Have you ever helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally? Have you ever helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally? Or have you ever smuggled someone into the United States? Have you ever smuggled someone into the United States? Never. Have you ever gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling? Have you ever gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling? Or they could ask, have you ever bet money on a race or sport illegally? Have you ever bet money on a race or sport illegally? Never. Tell me what illegal gambling means. Tell me what illegal gambling means. To play a game for money that is not allowed under the law. To play a game for money that is not allowed under the law. Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? Never. Could you explain to me what a dependent is? Could you explain to me what a dependent is? A person who is relying on another person financially. A person who is relying on another person financially. What does it mean when you have to pay alimony? What does it mean when you have to pay alimony? To pay money to an ex-spouse after a divorce under the law. To pay money to an ex-spouse after a divorce under the law. Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? Or, have you ever falsely obtained any public benefit in the United States? Have you ever falsely obtained any public benefit in the United States? Or they could ask, have you ever lied to receive any public benefit in the U.S.? Have you ever lied to receive any public benefit in the U.S.? Never. Could you give me a definition for misrepresent or misrepresentation? Could you give me a definition of misrepresent or misrepresentation? To lie about who you are or something you did. To lie about who you are or something you did. Explain to me what obtain public benefit means. Explain to me what obtain public benefit means. To get money from the government to help you, such as food stamps. To get money from the government to help you, such as food stamps. Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? Or have you ever submitted any falsified documentation during your application? Have you ever submitted any falsified documentation during your application? Or they could ask, have you ever provided any misleading information to any U.S. government officials? Have you ever provided any misleading information to any U.S. government officials? Never. What does it mean when something is false? What does it mean when something is false? It means it's not true. It means it's not true. Do you understand what fraudulent means? Do you understand what fraudulent means? To claim something that is not true. To claim something that is not true. Could you explain to me what it means when you mislead someone? Could you explain to me what it means when you mislead someone? To cause a person to believe something that is not true. To cause a person to believe something that is not true. Have you ever lied to any U.S. government official to gain entry or admission into the United States, or to gain immigration benefits while in the U.S.? Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States, or to gain immigration benefits while in the U.S.? Never. Do you know what a lie is? Do you know what a lie is? To say things that are not true. To say things that are not true. What does admission into the United States mean? What does admission into the United States mean? The right to enter the United States. The right to enter the United States. Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Or did you ever get deported? Did you ever get deported? Or were you deported? Were you deported? Never. Tell me what exclude from the United States means. Tell me what exclude from the United States means. To prevent from entering the United States. To prevent from entering the United States. Please define deport for me. Please define deport for me. To force a person to leave a country. To force a person to leave a country. Have you ever been ordered, removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Have you ever been ordered, removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Or have you ever been ordered to be deported? Have you ever been ordered to be deported? Was an order for deportation ever imposed on you? Was an order for deportation ever imposed on you? Never. Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? Never. Do you understand what rescission is? Do you understand what rescission is? It means to take back a decision. To take back a decision. What are deportation proceedings? What are deportation proceedings? Legal process of removing or deporting a person. The legal process for removing or deporting a person. Are removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings, including administratively closed proceedings, currently pending against you? Are removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings, including administratively closed proceedings, currently pending against you? Or is there an order for deportation that awaits you? Is there an order for deportation that awaits you? Or they could ask, are there any deportation proceedings pending against you? Are there any deportation proceedings pending against you? Or another way is, are you waiting for any deportation proceedings to become final? Are you waiting for any deportation proceedings to become final? No. Can you tell me what pending means? Can you tell me what pending means? It means waiting to happen. Waiting to happen. Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces? Never. Or, yes, I served in the Army. Yes, I served in the Army. What are armed forces? What are armed forces? U.S. military or U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines. U.S. military or U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Or are you in the U.S. Armed Forces now? Are you in the U.S. Armed Forces now? No. Or if the answer is yes, the officer will ask you, are you scheduled to deploy overseas, including to a vessel, within the next 3 months? Are you scheduled to deploy overseas, including to a vessel, within the next 3 months? The answer is no or yes, depending on your situation. Are you currently stationed overseas? Are you currently stationed overseas? No. Or, yes, I am stationed in Japan. Yes, I am stationed in Japan. What does deploy mean? What does deploy mean? To move soldiers to a new place. To move soldiers to a new place. Could you explain to me what stationed overseas means? Could you explain to me what stationed overseas means? It means a soldier works outside the U.S. It means a soldier works outside the U.S. Have you ever been court-martialed, administratively separated, or disciplined? Or have you received an other than honorable discharge while in the U.S. Armed Force? Have you ever been court-martialed, administratively separated, or disciplined? Or have you received an other than honorable discharge while in the U.S. Armed Force? Never. What is court-martialed? What is court-martialed? It means to go to a military court. To go to a military court. What does it mean when you are disciplined? What does it mean when you are disciplined? It means to be punished for doing something wrong. It means to be punished for doing something wrong. Explain discharged for me, please. Explain discharged for me, please. A soldier leaves the military. A soldier leaves the military. Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you were an alien? Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you were an alien? Never. Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces? Never. What does avoid being drafted mean? What does avoid being drafted mean? It means to prevent being selected as a soldier. Prevent being selected as a soldier. Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces? Never. What is an exemption? What is an exemption? Special permission not to do something. Special permission not to do something. Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces? Never. Tell me the meaning for deserted. Tell me the meaning for deserted. It means to abandon. It means to abandon. This next question only applies to male applicants. If you lived in the U.S. between the age of 18 and 26, legally or illegally, you have to register for the Selective Service. Are you a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18th and 26th birthdays? Are you a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18th and 26th birthdays? You may answer, no, I am not. No, I am not. If your answer is yes, but you did not register, there are 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, you are still under 26 years old during the interview. You must register for the Selective Service before the interview. We'll put the link in the description for your reference. Scenario 2, you are between ages 26 to 31 years of age during the interview. You must attach a statement explaining why you did not register and provide a status information letter from the Selective Service. You can request a copy from the link in the description. Scenario 3, you are over 31 years of age during the interview. You are exempt and don't need a status information letter because the applicant's failure to register would be outside of the statutory period. You can print out a form letter to explain the exemption. The link is in the video description. So if you answer yes to question 44A, the officer will ask, when did you register for the Selective Service? When did you register for the Selective Service? And depending on your situation, you will answer, I registered on May 10th, 2015. Here's a copy of the confirmation. I registered on May 10th, 2015. Here's a copy of the confirmation. Or if you didn't register, you can say, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't realize that I needed to register. Here's a copy of the status information letter from the Selective Service. I'm sorry, officer, I didn't realize that I needed to register. Here's a copy of the status information letter from the Selective Service. Or if you didn't register, but you are over 31 years of age, you can answer, I am sorry, officer, I didn't realize that I needed to register, but I'm over 31 years old now. Here's a copy of my exemption. I'm sorry, officer, I didn't realize I needed to register, but I'm over 31 years old now. Here's a copy of my exemption. What is your Selective Service number? What is your Selective Service number? You might answer, my Selective Service number is 554-12346. My Selective Service number is 554-12346. Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States? Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. What is the Constitution? What is the Constitution? It's the supreme law of the land. It's the supreme law of the land. What is the form of government of the United States? What is the form of government of the United States? Democratic Republic. Democratic Republic. Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. What is an oath? What is an oath? A promise. A promise. Do you know what allegiance means? Do you know what allegiance means? To be loyal to something. To be loyal to something. What is an oath of allegiance to the United States? What is an oath of allegiance to the United States? A promise to be loyal to the United States. A promise to be loyal to the United States. Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Yes, I am willing to. Yes, I am willing to. If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? Yes, I'm willing to. Yes, I'm willing to. Do you understand what bear arms means? Do you understand what bear arms means? It means to own or use a gun. It means to own or use a gun. Some of you might want to say no to this question because of your religious belief. You can say no to bear arms. However, there's a bit of prep work you need to do before the interview. What you need is a waiver to explain your religious belief prevents you from bearing arms. You can get a letter from a secular organization such as Center on Conscience and War to attest that your beliefs are sincere, meaningful, and deeply held. We will put the link in the video description. We would not recommend showing up at the interview without a well-worded support letter from such an organization, since most immigration officers are not familiar with these subtleties or the concept of the modified oath. Remember, you will have to take a modified oath during the ceremony if you said no to this question. If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces? If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces? Yes, I'm willing to. Yes, I'm willing to. Do you understand what non-combatant services means? Do you understand what non-combatant services means? Services that do not involve combat or fighting. Services that do not involve combat or fighting. If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction? If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction? Yes, I'm willing to. Yes, I'm willing to. Tell me, what is work of national importance? Tell me, what is work of national importance? Tasks that are important to a nation, especially during a war. Tasks that are important to a nation, especially during a war. What is a civilian? What is a civilian? A person who is not in the military. A person who is not in the military. What do you think? Does it help you? Leave us a comment and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.